Hi, how are you tonight? Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Roberta Colasino, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. We were in the path of totality for the eclipse on Monday, and everybody was very excited and had their chairs outside in the backyards, and we had our glasses ready to go, but it was cloudy, and we had a feeling it wasn't going to clear up, and it didn't, so we didn't see a thing. We got to chat, though. Usually this time of year, it's still a little too cold for neighbors to come out and chat in the backyard, so we did get to chat for a little while, but that was as far as it went. How about where you are? What was your view of the eclipse? Did anybody get to see it or get any really great pictures? I've seen some beautiful pictures, but none of them from around here, I'm afraid. Okay, so just making a few adjustments. So I am bringing you today Background Technique class number 5. Now again, none of this is necessarily stuff you've never seen before, and it might not even be stuff that you've never seen me do before, because I've done some of these techniques in Coffee and a Card, and I might have even done them on a video before. But I thought by clumping them together this way and labeling them as techniques, when you're looking for a technique, all you have to do is use the hashtag background techniques, and you'll find them on the group here, 11 Lakes Stamper Creatives. And so I just thought that would be kind of a good idea. Some of them are new, and to be honest with you, some of them, when I started exploring old cards, I realized that I had done, like when I very first started doing classes, or when I very first became a demonstrator, so that was 5 years ago, and some of them I haven't touched since. I haven't done the technique since. So it was kind of an awakening for me too, to realize that I could do some things again that I had sort of forgotten about. All right, so we will turn the camera down. Whoops. Turn the camera down, and we will get started with those techniques. Okay, looking good. Right side up and everything. Okay, great. So I'm actually still unpacking from Florida. That's kind of crazy, but I did something to my knee, my leg. I'm not sure. The pain goes up and down. I'm not sure what it is. And I'm going up and down the stairs. Carrying heavy loads has not been fun, so I haven't been doing it, basically. I've just left everything, or mostly everything, in the front hallway, and I've been bringing it up a little bit at a time. So this is the host code for the month of whatever this is. April already, isn't it? Yes, it is. Host code for the month of April, if you should place an order that's under $150 before shipping and handling, please use this host code, because that just helps me continue bringing these videos to you and buying some of the things that I need. So I would appreciate that very much. And in case you just found this group by mistake, you are watching my Facebook group, 11 Lakes Stamper Creatives, and I come to you every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. with a free stamping class. All right, so let's get started with the techniques. So today, all of the techniques will involve the use of masks. Now, Stampin' Up! Calls these masks, and I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that to me, they're stencils. They call them masks. I guess we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that. We have an apparent difference of opinion about that. So I brought out some Calypso Coral cardstock and this polka dot mask. And this is from the, hang on, I gotta find it. No, it's not from that one. Gosh, I hope I'm not showing you a retired product. I pulled out all of my masks, and I must have used them in a class recently or something, some project, and I had pulled them all out of the folders that they come in. So typically when they come to you, they're in a folder like this, in a bag, and it'll tell you what the name of it is. This is the Artistic Mix Decorative Masks, and they carried over to the 2023-24 catalog, and they are retiring. You know what? So actually, just for the heck of it, I'm not going to use these, because I'm not even sure that those might not be retired, and I hate to show you retired things. Yeah, these might be old. So we're going to just put those away and pretend you never saw them, okay? All right, so we'll use these because I know that these are current but retiring with the end of this catalog. So if you like these masks, you'll want to get them. So again, these are called the Artistic Mix Decorative Masks. And there is that big square one. This one, which kind of makes a label background. This one, which is sort of checks, maybe a buffalo check. I don't know exactly what you'd call it. And then these two, which I'm very fond of. This one I used the oh, what do you call it? The Stampin' Up um, embossing paste, but the glitter embossing paste. I think that is retiring as well, but I'll have to check. And I didn't wash it off right away, and I'm here to tell you that it stays on like forever. So if you're doing this in your craft room or wherever you are, have a little, even like a baking pan or some type of a dish with some water in it, so that you can throw these right into water when you're done with them. Or just, remember to wash them sometime that day, because apparently I did not. So we're going to put this over, and this technique, however, does not involve modeling paste. This technique involves using your spritzer. So that's a little bit different. I've got a sheet of the grid paper out here, and I'm going to tape this down, but I'm being very careful not to let the tape hit the card front where I want this pattern to go. I'm going to try to get this as straight as I can. And what I've done is I've taken one of our Stampin' Spritzers. You can buy these in packages of 3. And I put some alcohol in it. You could use water, but I chose alcohol just because it would dry faster. I put some alcohol in it, and I put a few drops of Calypso Coral Reinker in it, so that it's kind of a tone-on-tone thing. Now, because the mask isn't going to be tight down to that, and because I'm spraying, some of this spray will get under the mask a little bit, and that's actually just fine with me. I know that will happen, and I don't mind at all. So what's going to happen is, instead of the image being super sharp, it may be a little fuzzy, and I'm okay with that because it's just a technique. Now, I do have this habit of pointing the spritzer the wrong way and pointing it at myself, which is really just not good. So I want to make sure that it's pointing away from me. I'm going to do a little test spritz over here on the side. All right, so that came out kind of fast. Not fast, but thick, because I didn't press fast enough. So you do want to press, I'm just going to give it a little shake. You do want to press it. I'm going to hold it, I don't know what that is, about 6-7 inches away. And you want to press it kind of fast, and you want to move kind of fast. You don't want to keep spraying in the same spot. I'm not terribly concerned if I miss a spot, because that's part of the effect as well. So I'm going to cover that up. Whew, it smells like alcohol for sure. And I've just got some scrap paper over here. You can see one I did earlier. I'm just going to take that scrap paper, lay it down on top of that. Now, if I had chosen to use paper that was totally blank, and I still might, I would save that paper and use it as a background on some collage work that I might be doing. So I never throw things like that away. So now I'm going to peel the mask away, and it didn't, see, that one I'm not too happy with. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip it over. This was a card base, but now what I'm going to do instead is I will just cut it and use it as a layer. So that didn't happen with the other one. Like I said, it wouldn't bother me if it didn't cover every inch, but it didn't cover much of anything. I'm not sure why, but we'll give it another shot. So luckily I still have some in there. Give it a shake. And maybe I moved a little too fast. Maybe I was too concerned with not getting, or with getting too much on there, and I didn't get enough. So I'm going a little bit slower, but you do have to press it down. And the other thing is that maybe I should have let it sit a little bit longer, and maybe I picked up too much of it when I put the paper down. So again, we all learn together, right? Live and learn. So maybe what I'll do this time, instead of dabbing it with a paper, is I'm going to hit it with my heat tool. And because it is alcohol, it should dry much faster than water. And maybe I won't need to put the paper on it at all. I'm going to take a peek. Okay, I'm still not terribly impressed with that, but it's not bad. If you're just looking for a background and you don't need it to be perfect, that's okay. So again, that one was intended to be kind of tone on tone. If I had done a darker color, maybe it would show up more. I'm a little surprised, unless I didn't put enough reinker in there the last time, or this time rather. So that's possible. I might not have put enough reinker in there. But it does create some kind of a background. So let me show you what I did off camera, because I'm liking that a little bit better. But it was fairly mild as well, to be honest with you. So here we have the polka dots one, which I think is retired, so I apologize for using that. And you can see the polka dots, but you're not seeing a ton of them. It's a little light over here and darker on the top, but that's fine. And then I took out the stamp set. I wanted to make sure to share this with you. This has been one of my favorite stamp sets for the last couple of years, and it's carried over a few times. I think it was in a spring catalog. It's called Biggest Wish because it's got some big, bold greetings, which I really do like. And you can combine the bold greeting with the cursive greeting, and you can use different colors, which is what I did here when I stamped that. It's retiring, though. This will be not available in a few weeks if it's not already sold out. I haven't heard anything yet about it being sold out, but you never know. All right, let's see. I've got a little bin that I brought here. It's not exactly a tub, and it doesn't have water in it, but I can put some of these things down in it and not worry about them getting anything wet and yucky. And I'm going to flip this over to the other side. Again, it's alcohol, so it should dry pretty quickly. I wanted to use my modern oval punch to cut that out, and I thought it would work. And then I just could not find it for love or money. I feel like I used it last week, and it's probably buried on this black hole I call a desk somewhere, but I couldn't find it. So I think I'm just going to get the paper trimmer out and cut it just to kind of show you what this will look like. And because, oh, I got a haircut this morning. I got little hairs coming out of my head. Because I wasn't too happy about how that came out on one part there, I might choose to put this there to cover it up there. We'll see. And the other thing that I could do, so I used Calypso Coral and I used Lemon Lime Twist. I thought they would kind of look cool together. On second thought, I thought that maybe I should have done the Friend, or the Hello rather, in the lighter color and the Friend in the darker color. But again, from up close, I can certainly see it pretty well, and I think, yeah, you can see it too. I think whoever you give it to would kind of get the gist. If I had a piece of Lemon Lime Twist paper, it might be kind of cool to put that under there. And I don't think I do. I don't think I've used it enough to cut up too much of it. Right, I may have one here, maybe. I have a feeling this is Parakeet Party, not Lemon Lime Twist. But you know what? It's darn close, isn't it? Let's see. What else I have? Oh no, that's definitely not it. Yeah, I bet this is Parakeet Party, but they are kind of close. I think I can get away with it. I think I can. I think I can. All right, no, don't tear it. So that is the first technique. Let me just cut this, just so that you can see what a finished product might look like. So my apologies to those, well, I had to cancel my coffee and a card on Tuesday. I don't think I've ever had to do that, maybe once. And I think there might have been a weather cancellation one time when I was away in Florida, but I can't even say that for sure. Naturally, I picked up the one that doesn't have a pin in it. Yeah, I had to cancel it. I guess a lot of people just had other plans, and I only had one person signed up, but what I did was I invited her to meet me there anyway for breakfast, and we were going to do a little kit together and just chat. And we ended up not doing the kits because we did too much chatting, lots of chatting. But that was nice anyway. And then the Monday class that would normally happen on the third Monday of the month, at least so far, is not going to happen. Well, it's not. It's just too late now to plan anything because we've lost our venue. The place where we had the class has, first of all, announced that they're not going to be open on Mondays anymore because they're going to open on Saturdays instead. So they'll be closed on Sundays and Mondays and open Tuesday through Saturday. But they're also not, they've turned our space where we have our class into a, what am I trying to say, into a retail space. And they're going to be selling some stuff there. So, therefore, we've lost that space. So I'm looking for another space. If anybody watching who lives in the area, maybe not even necessarily right here in Newark, it could be nearby. If anybody can think of a space, and the important word here is free. I really do need to have a free space because Coffee and a Card it's not like a typical class that costs $30 or $40. It's a very reasonably priced event. And as a result of that, I would probably not make any money at all if I had to pay for a space. So I'm looking for something free, and something with, you know, a decent amount of room to spread out in, like one large table or two smaller tables maybe. So if anyone has any ideas, please let me know. I'm reaching out and looking into a couple of things, but so far nothing has panned out. Alright, so I'm just popping those up. And we'll put this down here. Well, I'm still feeling like I'm kind of feeling like I need something else on there. So let's see. I'm going to get out my ribbon tote here. So again, this is the 2022-2024 in color baker's twine. I think I used some of this last week on a card in the Starry Sky. So this is the Parakeet Party. We don't have any lemon lime twist twine. I think we are going to have some lemon lime twist ribbon, but I think I could use this as well. Okay, looking for my ribbon scissors. I just feel like it needs a little something something. So whether it's a bow or maybe just a, you know, a ziggy-zaggy thing. Kind of like a faux bow maybe. Oh, I know, wait. Speaking of faux bow, why don't we just do this? So we make like bunny ears and go ahead and sort of make a bow, but not really a bow. So what I'm trying to say here is we'll have, like, I've done this before and I promise it does work. That, oh, except when you get your finger caught on it. Oh, good grief. Alright, maybe I'm actually better off just making the bow. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm starting out making it really small on purpose so that when I pull it I can make it big. And something went totally wrong there. It's probably been a few years since I've needed to make bunny ears, right? Although I do make a lot of my bows that way. That just seems to work well. So then what I'm aiming to do here is to put the bow behind here instead of like in front of it or coming down from the bottom of it. Sometimes they just want to twist in their own direction and don't want to cooperate. So kind of like there and up there a little bit. Yep, well, I'm on paper too, so that's not going to work as well. Alright, now I feel like I made a Mickey Mouse ears or something, but that's alright too. Something to that effect is what I'm trying to go for. Well, I'm not thrilled with that either. Alright, it will do for now, and then I might have to play with it a little bit later, but you kind of get the idea. I just needed a little something else. So that is the technique where you use the spritzer with either alcohol and water and re-inker. And I might have needed to make the ratio of re-inker to alcohol a little bit higher. Okay, so the next thing that we will attempt is using blending brushes. And I've grabbed some Balmy Blue, actually it's just a cardstock, a Balmy Blue card, not cardstock, a Balmy Blue card base, thank you. And I'm just going to show you two different things. And let's see, where is that mask that I just used? Maybe not use that one again, maybe, where's that other one that I like? This one I like. Alright, so we're going to put that down on there. And typically when I use a technique like this on paper, I strongly recommend, and I often do this myself, to make the paper, if it's going to be a card layer, to make it larger than you actually need it to be so that you can trim it up if there are some sections that didn't come out the way you wanted them to. So I don't always do what I'm doing right now where I do this right on a card base, but you certainly can, and I'm going to. So I've got Balmy Blue ink and I've got a Balmy Blue card base. And I've got my blending brush and I'm going to tap some of that off. Well, why does it look like nothing's coming out? There we go, okay. And I'm just going to do the circular motions, and even though I've got the tape there, I am going to hold this. Now you could choose to just do part of this, like come around the top and like that and down if you wanted to. That's certainly a style. In this case, I think I am going to do the whole thing. And I will keep layering because I'm not seeing a lot of color, although sometimes you don't see a lot until you take the mask off. And we can peel it, and I definitely see that I am getting something there. So that's good. But this is tone on tone, so this would be a background that wouldn't necessarily be designed to jump right out at you. I definitely think I need to re-ink my Balmy Blue, but for today, for what we're doing, it's actually perfect. Because if it was too juicy, it would not look tone on tone so much. Okay, that's pretty mild. And that's not necessarily bad, but I always worry about what you guys can actually see on camera. It's looking a little dark. Oh, I have two bulbs that aren't on yet. There we go. That helps a little bit. I'm just thinking a couple more months, the sun will still be shining at this time of day. Of course, the sun hasn't really shined all day today. Hey, did anybody else in the area get terrible hail and thunder and lightning last night? Well, it wasn't bad enough. It wasn't as bad as some I saw on TV where it broke people's car windows and whatnot, but it was a little scary driving home. Okay, so there we go. I'm not going to do any more because, again, the intent for this card was to have that be tone on tone. So there you go. So it's very, very mild. Oh, you can see it nicely sitting there. Okay, so it's not a super dark thing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to put the Balmy Blue ink away. I'm going to use the same mask, just because I'm not as fond of some of the other ones. I know I shouldn't say that, but I'm just not. So I'm going to use the same mask, Balmy Blue paper again. So I can use the grid paper. That's the nice thing about this, and you can buy this in my online store. I can use this to line things up here, and then I can line that up next to that, and then I can get my tape on. Now I could be, more precise with the tape. I could get tape all around, but things still might move. I've always got scraps of tape over here next to me that I use in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and for things like this and whatnot. So I could put some more tape on there, but I'm not really taping down the card itself because I don't want the card to get torn. So therefore, it still could move. So I've got Blueberry Bushel now. So this is obviously a much darker color. It's also a fairly new ink pad, so it's going to be kind of juicy. So we're going to get a very different look this time around. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go really thin up here at the top, like a thin strip, or thinner. Oops. And then I'm going to come down like this. And I'm going to hit this corner here. And then come over just a little bit. And let's see if I like the way that looks. I was thinking of maybe not doing the whole thing. No, I think I want to do the whole thing. Okay, for some things that might be fine. If I wanted to stamp an image on this card, and I wanted to leave a space clear for the image, that would be kind of cool. Oops. Okay, so now let's take a look. Oh, well, I lifted it up. I was going to make that a little bit darker, but I don't want to mess with it. So I'll lift that up. So you can see now the difference, though, between the two. And if I had gone even darker with the Balmy Blue or with the the blueberry bushel and worked out a little bit harder, it would be even more of an extreme difference, but you can see how that is, okay? So that's another technique that I've definitely done with you before, just the blending brushes. And we'll see about finishing those up, but let's just see what we've got going on for time. All right, so the next attempt is going to be using the modeling paste, or the, oh my gosh, I always call it by the wrong thing, because in art classes I use modeling paste, and for this I use this stuff. What the heck is it called? Embossing paste. That's it. Oh my goodness. And I had a knife here. What do you call it? A palette knife. Oh, I see it. It blended right in with something. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some of our modeling paste, and this is not the shimmer the shimmer embossing paste. Oh my goodness. This is just the regular. I'm putting that on a palette knife, and I'm putting that there. That's not exactly what I wanted to do, but it's okay. It'll work out just fine. And let's see. Where's that small one again? This one. I think I want to use this one for that. And we have a couple of different ways that we can do this. So, I'm trying to think. I think for the first one, I don't want to use white. I want to use a color. And maybe I'll just go ahead and use this, and we will call this a fun fold at some point. I will turn that into a fun fold because I hate to have that go to waste, because I hacked a piece of it off to make the sentiment for the other one. So let's do that. Let's put that, I'm going to put this in here so I don't get embossing paste on anything but the front. And we're just going to use white embossing paste. And I think I will tape this down because I want to get some of that pattern kind of everywhere. So let's see. Tape that down. And then we'll tape this to the silicone mat. These are also an item that you can find in my online store, and they come in handy for anything messy. Really come in handy. And then there are some stamping techniques that you use these for too. And maybe we'll have to do that at some point, because I don't think I've done a video with this stamping technique. So what's happening again? Oh, I know why it's happening. Shoot. So I didn't clean off this stencil, and this stencil had some of the Calypso coral on it. So it's turning the embossing paste kind of Calypso corally. So that's kind of interesting. It's not exactly what I was going for, but you'll see the technique, and it could be interesting. I don't know. And then I'll show you how I made the same mistake in my sample that time, because I really just didn't even realize there was the tiniest bit of yellow, either paint or ink, on the palette knife, or on the palette knife, and it really spread onto the embossing paste, and it wasn't a great look. Okay, so there we go. So you see, it's Calypso coral. Okay, well, so that's different for sure. So I'm lifting that up, and I'm gonna toss that in here with stuff to be washed. And of course, I went ahead and spread it out so it's even on this. And how pretty is that? And then basically, all I want to do now is just take my finger. I want to try not to get any on the inside, and just scrape off anything that was on there that's kind of hanging off the edge. And just do that with your finger. It's not a big deal. You could do it with a card of some kind as well. And then actually, it's kind of pretty with the pinkish tint to it. I don't have a problem with that at all. And we'll have to come up with something really pretty to do with this. Okay, so ironically, the first technique that I was showing you, or was going to show you, was using just white embossing paste, which this was until it got mixed with the Calypso coral. This was my sample using a different stencil where there was just the tiniest bit of yellow on just one little part of the knife, and it just, that's what happened. So it's just a tint, you can barely see it, but I wanted to mention it because I didn't want you to think that the white embossing paste had a yellow tint to it, because it definitely does not. All right, so I'm going to put that up there. So since we kind of had that little mistake that happened, what I'd like to do, let's see, I have got some Melon Mambo re-inker here. And I'm going to put a few drops of that in here. So that's what you do if you want to make colored embossing paste. And since I've got the Calypso Coral on there, yeah, the Melon Mambo is very bright, very dark, very rich. So that's going to kill the Calypso Coral for sure, and definitely give you an impression of a much darker color there. So here's what I'm going to do, though. No, I'm not. I take it back. I had a thought, but I changed my mind before it even got too far out of my head. All right, so I've got a piece of the thick basic white cardstock here. I want to be careful. I don't want to put anything in that until I'm ready to put it in there. Let's see, let's make this 5, well no, let's do a half. Let's do the full size, because then I can cut it down. Okay, so now I really do have to pick a different mask, because I don't want to be mushing colors together. So we will use this one. I don't have anything against this one, don't get me wrong, it's just not pretty. It definitely serves a purpose, and I've used it for quite a few cards, but it's not froofy. I don't know, I guess I was in a froofy mood, going for froofy. Alright, I do want to try to keep this straight, because when you've got lines like this, if it's a little crooked, it's going to be quite obvious. So this time, because I've got that one mucked up and I've got this one with the paste on it, I'm just going to let this get all over that, and then we'll just get rid of that when I'm done with it. I never throw out these things of tape until I'm sure that they're absolutely no good anymore. And they're all just stuck over here to some plastic bins that I have. Okay, so now we've got this Melon Mambo. We're going to do this on white, which will definitely make it show up more. So all you're doing is you're picking some up on the back of the knife and you're spreading it on. So when I did this in class and some people were doubting whether they would be able to do this or not, I said, can you butter toast? Because if you can butter toast, you can do this. And they were like, oh, okay, we can butter toast. And everybody was 100% successful. You can put it on very thick if you want to as well. With a pattern like this, I don't think I'd like to. With this going on a little bit thicker, it's really got some texture, which I'm hoping will wash off of there. But pretty much everything I've ever attempted to get off the silicone mat has come off of it. So probably the only exception would be the alcohol markers, because they're meant to stick to everything, so they might not come off, but they wouldn't ruin it. They would just stain it. Oh, now the only problem is I'm running out of embossing paste, so I'm going to really scratch that over, because I want the whole thing covered. Still don't know exactly what my goal is with this, what kind of a card this is going to be, but it certainly is bright. How about like balloons for the beautiful balloon set, which by the way is retiring. So this is strange. The beautiful balloon set is retiring. The what do you call them? The dies are retiring, but they're keeping the paper or carrying the paper over. I thought that was a little unusual. Sometimes they carry over paper, although it's fairly rare. But to carry over paper without carrying over the set, I don't know if that's happened before. Maybe it has. All right, and I got a little bit of white on here, so this little section here is going to be a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to kind of keep scraping it down, hoping to cover every inch of this. But it doesn't matter, because if it's not working, all I'll do, if I don't have it all covered, is I'll just cut off and make this a smaller piece, or maybe even use it in a couple of small sections. And it does not have to be perfect. It really doesn't. So now I'm going to lift this up. Look at that. So that came out really, really nice in terms of the contrast there and the white. So we're going to put that in my little basket, and that's going to have to get washed like right away. I'll hit this with the heat gun a little bit, but I don't think it'll dry it completely. Okay, I'm pretty sure that that's not 100% dry yet, but it's dry enough for me to touch, I think, without making a horrible mess. So everything that needs washing is going to get thrown in my little basket there. Okay, and then this, I think, should just go right in the trash bin. I could probably use it for something, but we'll just say goodbye to it for now. So we've got that. So that's Melon Mambo, and that could go on. If we were going to make it a birthday card, I think it would be really colorful to put it on, or really fun to put it on something else more colorful. This, oh, you know what? I think this is Retired Bermuda Bay. Oh my goodness, I think it is. I don't have my color coach with me, but I did bring out, so I wanted to show this to you, but unfortunately, this was a special gift given to demonstrators who attended on stage in Houston, and it's apparently not going to be available. So it's a color wheel, and I've showed you my own color wheels before, the ones that I use in art classes and whatnot, but this one's a little bit different in that it has these little sections. So if you turn this around and it lands on 4 sections, like let's find Melon Mambo, okay, it'll tell you that Melon Mambo would go well with all of these colors, but would also go well with the ones across from it that are complementary colors. So what that tells me is that Melon Mambo, which is right there, could go with, oh, look at that. That is very interesting. I apparently got the French version of this. Okay, so, and in French, Melon Mambo is Melon Mambo, because there must not be words for those or whatever. Oh my gosh, I did not even notice that I got a French one. That is just too funny. So, let's see. This is Lost Lagoon. I can read that much in French. And I have no idea what that would mean. Isn't that interesting? I might need an interpreter. But it says it would go with Lost Lagoon. So Melon Mambo and Lost Lagoon would go well together. Okay. And I do have a Lost Lagoon card base. That is so funny. A person handed it to me. A Stampin' Up person handed it to me. And I'm pretty sure I wasn't speaking French at the time. So she must not have been paying attention, because I didn't just take this. It was given to me. That's kind of funny. All right. Well, I'll be learning some French in the next few days. At least some colors anyway. Very funny. So let's just see. Is this, I mean, it's kind of wild, I have to say. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but if the color wheel says it's so, then it must be so. I want to cut that off. This is still a little damp. I think it'll be okay, she says. So let's, I'm thinking like 3 3/4, maybe. All right, let's just see. That's kind of cool looking, isn't it? All right, so my blade looks okay. I don't think I dumped at my blade. It's not wet by any means. It's just not 100% dry either. Okay, so 3 3/4 by 5, and we'll take that off of this end because that's a little funky looking. And well, let's see. We're going to take some off of each end. So when you're trying to figure out a card layer and you know what size you want it to be, but you've done something like stamping on it or like this, embossing on it, you kind of want to just sort of keep looking at it and taking maybe a little bit from each end until it looks kind of even. It's never going to be perfect, at least I don't think it is, but these are just kind of cool. So these could go on the inside of the card, but I have to let them lay flat because I don't want them to crack at this point until they're dry. So I think this could be a really fun birthday card. So picture some, maybe, well, even Melon Mambo, but maybe another contrasting color. Let's see, in French. I wonder if I call Stampin' Up and tell them I got a French one, if they'll send me one in English or if they're just going to laugh at me. So some balloons in maybe like, I think that's Lemon Lolly, just because I recognize the color. And then across from that would be some of the purples. So, well, and the blues. So Lemon Lolly and Azure Afternoon, I recognize that one. Misty Moonlight, I recognize that one. Oh, Boho Blue, but that's like Blue Boheme. Instead of Boho Blue, it's Blue Boheme. I like that. Yeah, so maybe some bright yellow and blue balloons on top of that. It would be pretty festive. It would be nice for a kid's card. Kids don't know too much about colors anyway, right? They just know, well, they're starting to learn like red and green makes, or red and, what is it, red, yeah, red and blue makes purple, and yellow and blue makes green. They're starting to learn those kinds of things in school, even if they're pretty little. But I think this would make a fun birthday card. So I'm going to have to get out those balloons and play with them a little bit because they are going away. I'm very sad about that because that was a fun set. Now again, once you own that set, you can use it forever. It's not quite that simple for me. Okay, so picture it with balloons, and we could get out our happy birthday. Again, our biggest wishes, because that's going away too. And if you don't have this set, I consider it a must-have. I mean, I won't be getting rid of it. I will still use it, but just not, probably not in classes and whatnot. But I don't think I'm ready to give this one up. So that would be kind of cool. I like that. And I'm going to add some balloons to that, and then we have to add an inside liner to that. So then there's this one that's supposed to be white, but came out sort of yellowish white. I could take a blending brush and go over that and make it a different color completely, maybe. Maybe the sponge daubers would work better for that. And then we've got these two, which again, I'll have to turn these into cards sometime this week. So we have the one that's Balmy Blue on Balmy Blue, so tone on tone, and this one is the Blueberry Bushel on Balmy Blue, so a little bit more of a contrast. And then this one didn't come out very well at all. I did both sides and I'm still not happy with it, so that I'll have to play with. But this one is Calypso Coral on Calypso Coral with, and I think this was Parakeet Party, but this one was Lemon Lime Twist. And that's kind of cool. I need to play with the bow a little bit. But so that's the technique, and every technique involved the use of our masks. So like I said, remember that this one, the Artistic Mix Decorative Masks, is retiring. And I'm trying to see if I have my papers here. Well, again, I had them earlier. Oh wait, I see them. Because I want to say that someone mentioned that the masks were being reduced. So the prices of the things that are going on sale. Oh, and then there's this one too. This one I like. That one's really kind of cool. We'll have to come up with some kind of a fun thing to do with this to make it more of a fun fold. So these things have been available to the public as last chance items for a couple of weeks now, but it wasn't until yesterday that the reduced prices went into effect. And for some of the things where you see I've got them marked in yellow are reduced, like the super cool photopolymer stamp set, 50% off. I mean, if you like that, you can't beat that. The Les Shops Designer Series paper, which you could do a lot with even without the stamp set, the DSP is reduced 50%. But I'm trying to find the masks because I saw them and I think I highlighted them separately. I did. So the Artistic Mix Decorative Masks, the ones that I just used, are 10% off. And the 4 square decorative masks are 40% off. That's pretty amazing. Now the 4 square ones, I believe, Well, I hope I know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Nope, these are the Abundant Beauty ones. That these might be carrying over because they're not listed here with masks unless they're listed in a different spot. No, because masks are considered tools. So these might just be carrying over. These were from the winter catalog. I'm hoping that oh, but that's, wait a minute. Yeah, no, they might not be. I might have misspoken. So the 4 square ones, I think that's these. Because the newer ones were this white material, which I really like. It's a little bit less flimsy than the other material. Not that I would go as far as to call the other material flimsy, but it's flimsier. I think these are the 4 square, but I think there's some other ones that go along with it. I'm going to have to check that out and find out because those are 40% off, which is a really good price. So the other thing, just to let you know, that in some cases, the bundle is retiring. So what that means is that in the new catalog, the stamp set will be there and the dies or the punch will be there, but the bundle price is retiring. So if there are any bundles from the 23-24 catalog that you really liked, you would want to get them now at the bundle price. However, if the reduced price has a large percentage off, let's say the dies, then don't buy the bundle and get it this way with the 40% off of whatever the dies might be. So you really have to take a look at that. I will post an updated version of this. I'm still having a hard time keeping up with what's retiring or what's what's sold out and what isn't. There were very few last chance products from the annual there were much more. I'm saying this all backwards. There were many, many more last chance items from the annual catalog than there were from the January to April mini catalog. That was literally just front and back and then a few things there. Okay, but that the Stippled Rose bundle is retiring. Important to know, but not the stamp set and the dies. I just introduced those to you from that catalog. So they are carrying over, but they will not be bundled. So if you like that set, you definitely want to get it now while you can. The bundle price is $54. And the host sets, I believe, are still available. And what else is like really discounted? There were a couple of things. Not everything. That's the other thing. Not as many discounts from the mini catalog. The square pillow boxes, if you like to collect things like that to use for gifts and whatnot, those were 20% off. The Sweet Thoughts, Memories, and More card pack, that's 40% off. And the Sweet Thoughts, Memory, and More cards and envelopes is 20% off. So that would be a great buy, assuming they're still there. And the Cliffs by the Ocean Cling stamp set is 30% off. So typically the things that are discounted are things that they have more of in stock. And that's why they're discounting them. So that might mean that they weren't as popular, and that's why they didn't sell as many, but then as soon as things get discounted, all of a sudden they're popular, if you know what I mean. So just, I'll post this, take a look at it, and see if there's anything that you'd like. And like I said, if you're going to place an order, please use my host code. And sometimes my link, some people have reported to me that my link is not working well, and that it's taking them just to Stampin' Up. So please make sure that you are shopping with me if you're one of my customers. And if you're not one of my customers, I would love to have you be a customer. All right. And again, I posted it, or I think I said it last week, and I posted it. I'm a little behind in my thank yous for the purchases that took place in March, so please forgive me, but I should be getting to that tonight or tomorrow. I actually have almost a whole day off tomorrow. I have a meeting at noon, but I have almost a whole day off. So, all right, so thank you very much for joining me. I hope you catch me on the replay if you weren't here tonight, and I will see you 1 week from today. Have a great night.